Hi, this is Mark Littleton, the minister of the Word for the Athens Church of Christ, with today's 3-minute sermon. Today we come to the end of our journey through the Gospel of John. We come to John chapter 21. And even though this chapter is the end of John's Gospel, I love it because it's really a second beginning for Peter. You may remember that a few chapters ago, back in John 18, the last time we saw Peter, he had vehemently denied, not once, not twice, but 3 times, that he was a disciple of the Lord or even knew the Lord. It looked like it was over for Peter in John chapter 18. But in John 21, we learn Jesus is not done with Peter yet. At the beginning of the chapter, you find the disciples out in a boat fishing. That's not unusual. That's what they were. They were fishermen. They're just going back to their normal life again. And they haven't caught anything all night, and they see this man standing on the shore. They don't recognize him as Jesus, risen from the dead. But Jesus tells them to throw their nets on the right side of the boat, and they'll catch some fish. And they do, and sure enough, they catch fish. This reminded them of a time where this happened before, earlier in Jesus' ministry. And so immediately they know this is the Lord. Peter jumps in the water. He swims to shore to be with the Lord. The other disciples come. They have breakfast together. And then I love what Jesus does with Peter. It says down in verse 15 of John 21, when they'd finished eating, Jesus said to Simon Peter, "Simon, son of John, do you love me more than these?" "Yes, Lord," he said, "you know that I love you." Jesus said, "Feed my lambs." Again, Jesus said, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" He answered, "Yes, Lord, you know that I love you." Jesus said, "Take care of my sheep." The third time he said to him, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" Peter was hurt because Jesus asked him the third time, "Do you love me?" He said, "Lord, you know all things. You know that I love you." Jesus said, "Feed my sheep. Very truly, I tell you, when you were younger, you dressed yourself and went where you wanted. But when you're old, you'll stretch out your hands, and someone else will dress you and lead you to where you do not want to go." Jesus said this to indicate the kind of death by which Peter would glorify God. Then he said to him, "Follow me." 3 times Peter had said, "I don't even know the Lord. I am not a follower of the Lord." 3 times Jesus asks Peter, "Simon Peter, do you love me? Do you love me? Do you love me?" And each time he would say, "Then feed my sheep, feed my sheep, feed my lambs." In other words, I've still got work for you to do, Peter. I've still got a mission for you, Peter. In fact, let me show you the kind of death by which you're going to glorify God. I'm not done with you yet, Peter. Your failure doesn't have to be final. And again, my friend, that's my message to you today. I don't know how badly you have failed the Lord in the past. I don't know how bad you've blown it. You may think, man, the Lord doesn't want anything to do with me. Let me tell you, he does. He not only wants something to do with you, he's got a mission for you. He's got something he wants to use you to do if you'll just come back to him. If you'll just bring that failure to him and let him handle it, he can restore you and he can use you to glorify God. Lord willing, we'll see you again this Monday for another 3-minute sermon. God bless.